Hello and welcome to the Waynesburg Way, a sports show that doesn't just focus on the games and statistics, but digs a little bit deeper. In today's episode, we will cover a group of basketball players that call themselves the Final Four, a three-point specialist on the women's basketball team, as well as the women's basketball athletic trainer. And that story will be coming up first with Luke Goodling.
When you think Jacket basketball, names like Addie Knetzer, Monica Starr, or Andrea Orlowski probably come to mind. But behind every athlete to come through Waynesburg University's women's basketball program in the past 2 years, there's a name you probably don't recognize.
My name is Daniela McHugh-Curious. I am the primary athletic trainer for the women's basketball team. I also work with the men's soccer team and the baseball team here at Waynesburg.
Through 2 seasons, she's been to nearly every practice and every game. Head coach Sam Jones said she only missed 4 games this season.
She's probably at about 95% of our practices and 80% of our games. Only because for conference games when we travel with the men, the men's trainer travels half the time and she travels half the time. But anytime we have a game that's just us, she is always there. And then half of our games, when we travel with the men, she splits with the other one. So she probably missed 4 games this year.
When she's on campus, she's always on the clock, before, during, and after practices and games.
My job is prevention. We try to prevent the injuries from happening on the court. So whenever somebody, is starting to complain about like a little bit of weakness or a little bit of pain, we try to, treatment, rehab. We have a lot of nice equipment here, like the game-ready machines. We have modality units for ultrasound and electrostimulation that sometimes we can use depending on the situation with the athlete. But so a lot of preventative type stuff with rehab and treatment like that.
Unfortunately, the basketball team suffered a heavy number of injuries throughout the season.
She works hard, she does her homework on each injury because an ankle sprain is not just an ankle sprain. They're all a little different or whatever. And unfortunately, we had a lot bigger problems than ankle sprains. But really just she reads up on it. She has a great base of knowledge, but she bothers to go and search in depth more to try and get them back healthy and strong as quickly as possible. So
for freshman basketball player Brooke Fuller, Danielle's level of care surpassed what she experienced in high school.
The difference with the trainers this year was I felt like they were really involved with our team just because they had one team to worry about. As of high school, our athletic trainers were actually part of like another school. So they helped us. But they didn't just stick with basketball. As of Daniela just helps us with basketball, like tells us what to do, things to help us. But in high school, they weren't really focused on like just one sport. So they'd help us, but it wasn't as in depth as Daniela does.
For Brooke, Danielle is more than just a trainer on the team.
And it's nice to get to know her on like a personal level, whereas I feel like I didn't know my trainers at all in high school, but she travels with us, is with us at practice, and it also helps that she's around our age. And she understands like problems that we're having as in basketball problems and stuff like that. So it's nice, and she's also female, so she understands.
Through it all, Danielle plays an important role for the Yellow Jackets, a role which allows athletes to compete at their highest ability and gives the coaching staff peace of mind.
It's great. It honestly takes a lot of stress off. I got enough going on between the ears. I don't need to be worried about that kind of stuff. So it's very nice to just leave the athlete's care to a trained professional, and just if she says they can go, they can go. If she says they can't, and I don't have to think too much about it. So it's a great asset. Even
though you don't see her on the court, just like Knetzer, Starr, or Orlowski, Danielle is part of the team, and perhaps playing the most important role.
And I feel like I'm part of the team. I definitely identify as being part of the team. I'm at every practice, I'm at every game. I put in the same amount of time as the coaches and the athletes do, so I'm part of the team too.
For WCTV, I'm Luke Goodling.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish!
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Welcome back to the Waynesburg Way. Now it's time to take a closer look at the men's basketball team this season and an integral part of that team. They call themselves the Final Four. And now with more on that is Zach Schnegg.
It's no secret to most students on the campus of Waynesburg University that one of the most close-knit groups on campus is the men's basketball team. One of the main reasons why it possesses that trait because of the mentality of friendship and family through 4 juniors on the roster.
The Final Four. That's what a group of juniors on the men's basketball team has become known by. The main reason why? They're the only 4 original players left from the recruiting class of 2016.
8 or 9 guys came in with us our freshman year, and it got cut to 6 before, first practice. And then as the season went on, a couple guys left, and we were the last 4 standing. And I think it was the middle of the year, January of our freshman year, or right after season. I think it was a GM, and we were all in one, and we had no name for it, so it just said Sam, Cam, Frank, and Shane. And I don't know who it was, but someone just put Final Four in it. So I think that's when we kind of started just saying the Final Four. And it's a joke, but people on campus mess it up, and they say they're the core 4, or those 4 over there. No, we're the Final Four. That's what we are, and that's who we're going to be until we're out of here. And then when we graduate, they can call us that too. But that's kind of how it started. So I think just everybody left, and we were the last 4 standing, and it's kind of just something that bonded us together. And it's something that I think it's important to us, even though it's a joke to other people.
Despite losing a lot of players from that class, it isn't a challenge that head coach Mark Christner hasn't faced before.
We've had it in my 9th year. We've had it a little bit of both. Our first 2 recruiting classes really stayed. They made the commitment to stay. So we had a senior day of 7, and the next year we had a senior day of 6. And then the last few senior days, and for a variety of reasons, have been 2, 3, 1. And, there are times where you might recruit 3 guys, but then 3 guys kind of show up, and so you end up with a class of 6. It depends on how you do the math a little bit, to be honest.
All 4 guys have made a contribution over the last 3 years to the team, and all play their own separate roles on the squad. The first guy is Cam Auld, a wing from North Huntington, Pennsylvania, and attended Norwood High School east of Pittsburgh.
Second half, or first half, I should say. Heater to Auld with a 3 ball. Down! Cam Auld with an offensive strike.
He's a guy that, comes in and works every day. And like I said, he's just all for the team. Anything that needs to happen, he'll push for that.
I think Cam's a guy that every coach in America would want on their team, just the type of attitude that he brings and the approach. Kind of came into a starting spot towards the end of the year, and again, he just puts his shoes on, comes to work, and does whatever he's asked, and he's a great kid.
The second man is also a Pittsburgh kid, and Frank Bozovic. Frank is from Monroeville, Pennsylvania, and was a Gator at Gateway High School.
Handles, finds Bozovic, gets in front, and scores.
On the court, he's one of them guys, when I look for the practice schedule every day, I'm looking for his name first because I want him on my team, and I just know, if he's on my team, I'm getting that ball that day. So that always works out, and just, really his scoring, too, really went underappreciated this year. Just his 15-foot pull-up game just super strong. So, thanks, man. Yeah, so
he can play and he can make plays, and he, as a sophomore, made multiple game-winning plays for us. And as a junior, I think probably wasn't a year that we hoped for him and he hoped for himself in a lot of ways, but I thought he really ended well, and that is important moving into this year too.
The third man up is guard Sam Heater. Sam is from New Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and attended Red Bank Valley High School.
Rebound for the Jackets. Heater moves in, drives it, gets it to go. Sam Heater, his first points.
It never fails to make me laugh in practice because he'll always talk trash with me on the court, and I'll get serious about it back. But he'll just keep laughing about it, and then he'll make me end up laughing. So he can always calm me down and get me giggling, laughing.
He's a guy that has earned kind of everything that he's done, and I think those are the types of people we want around our program. And not to speak for Mark, but I think he comes from a good family, and his foundation of basketball from the early levels and skill level, I think it will hopefully provide a leap year for him to kind of take a jump.
Last but not least is Shane Johnson. Shane is from Shadyside, Ohio, and was a Tiger under head coach Ed Andes.
Has the ball for Waynesburg, and now Looks for Matt Kofek, eventually finds him. Now back to Johnson. 3-ball, yes!
When the first shot goes in, you know the next 5 probably are too, because he's just he gets hot and he stays in like this zone. It's kind of weird because like I don't want to guard him when I play up in gym because they'll probably give me buckets. But like I said, he just gets hot and he'll stay hot. And I don't think people appreciate how much he can score and how good he is at scoring.
I think he's somebody that can score it, given the opportunity, and he's one that really hunts for shots and for his offense as well. So that's kind of what he brings.
With all 4 guys heading into their final season, all of them have one goal in their mind.
It'll be an exciting year, and I know we'll be really gunning for that PAC championship since it's our last year.
For the Waynesburg Way, I'm Zach Schnegg.
Body language. Without saying a word, it can tell you so much. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time. Time to call 911 immediately. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. Learn the body language, the sudden signs, and spot a stroke fast.
Welcome back to the Waynesburg Way. Our final story tonight features a key player for the women's basketball team. Despite just being a freshman, this player shocked the PAC with her sharp shooting abilities. For more on the story, here's Dakota Kiefer.
If you followed the Waynesburg University women's basketball team this past year, then you know this was a common sight.
Retains possession. Haley Porter throws up a 3, slammed in.
Watching Haley Porter play this past year, it might not seem like she is a freshman, but it is in fact her first year at Waynesburg University playing basketball. She finished the year second on the team in points per game with 12.2. This was also good enough for 13th in the PAC, the highest ranking freshman in the conference. When asking head coach Sam Jones if her early success surprised him at all,
I'm not really surprised by her growth just because she's one of our hardest workers. She seeks out help from the coaches in the outside of practice time and puts a lot of work in the gymnasium, and it's really just great to see her rewarded for all that hard work.
One of those games where her work really paid off, unfortunately, came in an 81-74 loss against rival Washington and Jefferson on February 6th. When Porter scored a career-high 27 points and a career-high 8 3-pointers, that was just one off the mark of the program record.
It was a big part of her game before. I mean, she's a fairly versatile scorer, although the shooting is, her biggest strength. So it was definitely something that made me want to recruit her heavily.
I also spoke with Sam Jones about how he views the importance of the three-point ball for his team.
It's really important just because it opens up space for driving lanes for other people. It definitely opens up space for our post players. We were at our best, speaking of, Katie Gelman, when we had her on the outside and Addie on the inside. That's a pretty volatile combo. So, with Brooke as a freshman and Haley as a freshman, and we've got that inside-out combo again, and I'm just looking forward to the two of them growing, in that relationship between the two of them, as well as obviously involving the rest of the team. But it's a great inside-out combo, which just opens up the floor a lot for your offense.
Having a three-point specialist like Haley Porter did prove to help in more ways than one, as freshman Brooke Fuller took full advantage down low, averaging 10 points per game.
We just need to continue to grow. We made a lot of young mistakes for large portions of the year, and we definitely improved, but we just need to continue to grow as a team and as an all-around basketball player for each.
Haley Porter seemed to grow more and more throughout the year as she ended her freshman season averaging 12.2 points per game. She also finished the season with 316 points, and 186 of them came from the three-point ball. If Porter can keep up this pace, she is well on her way to becoming a 1,000-point scorer. The three-point ball is nothing new to Porter, as she has been making deep threes since her days in high school in Belmont, Ohio. This is what stood out to head coach Sam Jones, since the three-pointer has always been a major part of his teams. As you can imagine, there's a lot to look forward to with the Waynesburg University women's basketball team. With the abundance of young talent coming back, leading the charge is Haley Porter and her three-point ball. And also, head coach Sam Jones is very excited about the upcoming freshman class. For WCTV, I'm Dakota Kiefer.
With that, the Waynesburg Way concludes this time. But be sure to tune in again for a closer look at Waynesburg University athletics.